Last winter I took an 11-hour bus ride from Tucson into Mexico. I was invited to stay in a vacant house that a friend of mine had recently bought in the town of Alamos. Alamos has a population of 10,000 or so, including about 300 Americans who live here at least part-time. I was curious what it would be like to live in Mexico, and I wanted to meet some of the Americans and find out why they wanted to live here.
They're older. A lot of them are older. They're retired. Some are trying to get by on Social Security. But I think one of the basic attractions in Mexico is that they can come down here to a warm climate in the wintertime when they come from Alaska, Minneapolis, places like that. The big thing is life is very easy. You can afford a maid, if not full-time, at least part-time. You can afford a gardener if you own a house. I paid $35,000 for this place. It's gorgeous. Living is easy down here. Doesn't cost anything really, if you have any money. And so they like it, and then they're pretty bored where they've been a postman or a policeman, or they sold asbestos siding, or whatever the hell they did back in the States. They can come down here and reinvent themselves.
Basically, I went through a divorce after 25 years and needed to do something different, got a small settlement, and needed to make it work. I didn't want to work for someone else for the rest of my life, and then maybe at the end of my life have some time to go and enjoy it. And so I came here, fell in love with it, went home after a week, told my mother I was moving to Mexico. She told me I was crazy. A year later, I came back and bought the property that I bought, and for the last 2 years I've been working on it, putting in bathrooms and water storage, and getting it ready. But the main thing was that I could spend the little bit of money I had to buy a place to live in it and do it as my business also.
Back almost 15, 20 years ago, I read a book, and it was how to have a quality life, how to lead a quality life. And it's not having a 9-to-5 job to stay alive. It's not having a mortgage. It's not having 2 car payments. I had a security company, alarm systems, wrought iron window guards, working throughout the Los Angeles area. And at a particular point in the real estate market in Los Angeles, I decided to follow the book, follow my heart, and sell out to the gunnels. In 2000, this particular piece of property was being used as a little cafe and cantina. Anyway, in 2000, I was having lunch here, and I asked the chap that was one of the owners of the property if the property was for sale. And he said yes, and the very next day I came back. Just so happened it was my birthday, and for a little over $15,000, I purchased a ruin. That was one of the reasons that I fell in love with this. I haven't changed too much. My living accommodations down here are basically a 20 by 20 room. It's got everything one would need. Fireplace and a bed, and 20-some feet away is the bathroom.
Well, you see, it was 1983, my husband died. For about 5 years after that, I really kept house for my mother. She was right around 90, and she died when she was 93. And at that moment, I realized there was no one that could tell me to go or to come. I was about 20 years younger than my mother. I was 73 at the time. And so I bought myself a Toyota pickup with a camper top and a nice one-woman umbrella tent and some camping equipment, and decided I would take off and go down and see the part of Mexico that I had been in before with my husband. So I put my dog in the front seat and went down and got my visa and my permission and went on down to San Carlos. And that was where they told me I should really go down and look at Alamos. So I got here in the middle of the day, and I walked out of the car onto the plaza. And I looked around and I thought I was just in the finest place I had seen. I really thought this is a place where I would like to be. It was just a very amiable kind of place. Besides, I really liked the Mexican people.
Where we live, we have no really good lumber at all. It's the only thing we get is cheap pine. And there's nothing termites love better than pine. Oh boy, that's dessert for them. So you want to be careful not to make roof rafters or supports or anything out of the local lumber here. So most people use bricks and adobe too, mostly bricks though, for construction. And the locals are very good at this work. They have, of course, a couple of classes of workers, like a peone, we call him, that just chops with a machete and does gardening work and things like that. They don't make too much. They make maybe 100 pesos a day for an 8 or 10 hour day, about $10, like $1 an hour. But a man that's skilled, like a skilled bricklayer or masonry worker or electrician, they make about double that. They make about about $20 a day. Our immediate neighbor right behind me now, he even knows how to build a dome in the house out of bricks. And that's a rather specialized type of masonry. So it's brick heaven, mainly because of the termites and the lack of local lumber. Mm-hmm. So they fire up these brick ovens and they cook these bricks, and they've got to cook them enough to make them hard. If we have gotten bricks here that have been too soft and they crumble. So you've got to be sure the bricks you buy have been sufficiently well cooked in the kiln.